All right, welcome back. That's Some Cheese, part of the Vendetta Sports Podcast Network. Today is Tuesday, August 29th, 2023, and James Herrick is here.
How's it going? I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm alive, hanging in there. Today, we're going to go over the Google form. I basically sent a feedback to all of the company. Hey, here's some questions. Let me know how you feel. So we're going to go over that. Pretty interesting responses, I should say. Have a couple things that I want to cover before then. First and foremost, I have to start each show with the Data Boys. Do you have any Data Boys that you'd like to add before I go?
I'll be honest. So I watched the last episode, which was probably only a week or a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
And the Data Boys for me would have been Hannah Fan and Toothpaste. So you got those last week. So those were my two that I was thinking.
Okay. So I wanted to give a quick shout out to Marsman Gaming because I just think his reviews are awesome. And he's basically taken it so far to where he's using our company and he's getting more codes. Like he's getting codes from software developers. He's getting codes, just things that a normal YouTuber wouldn't have access to. He's using our company, getting extra shit, putting it out there. His reviews are on time. I mean, he's covering games that nobody else is covering. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Marsman Gaming, who continues to use the opportunities here to his advantage.
Yeah, and he's also very, for what he's doing, he puts out a lot of articles because he's got all the video and all the streaming stuff he's doing, and he still puts out a pretty good amount of articles. And like you said, when you're doing game reviews, it's not like you can just pump it out in 15 minutes. It's like you got to play the game. So
no, I mean, he takes it seriously. Every single video that he does, there's a post to correspond with it.
Mm-hmm.
So quick shout out to Marsman Gaming. My last two are going to be a little bit of a stretch, but we're going with it. Shout out to Jerry Walker, who's, just running the Daily Show. I mean, he every single week he asks who wants to do it, and we haven't found anybody else that just wants to do it. So quick shout out to Jerry Walker.
Yeah, shout out to him. And from experience here, I scheduled the Daily Show when it first started.
This is going to be a good topic, by the way.
I don't exactly envy his job. I'll just say that. So credit to him because we have a lot of daily shows going out.
Last one for me. Quick shout out to Max Everett, who is fulfilling the mission to kick Izzo's ass. And I think we are on pace to do that. So I like the pro wrestling team that is being built.
And if you check out the Newsbreak app, those get a lot of interactions, the WWE articles.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Another quick side note. Somebody on the Google form asked when the move is being complete. Soon, very soon. And when it is, all of these shows will be in person. No more of this StreamYard shit. So have a nice little setup going on.
That's exciting right there.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Another person on the Google form has requested that in the cheese episodes, I drop the views. So
that was me.
Was it you?
Yeah. When I remember you were doing that for a while, I just think it's a good way to maybe motivate people or show the pecking order a little bit so that people know where they stand. I think that's interesting.
I have it down. And I have it prepared for the month of July and August. So we're going to go over it. That's good to know. Great suggestion, James Herrick. All right. For July, I just did the top 20. Should I go backwards or forwards?
Let's start at 20.
Okay. Food blogger Jackie, number 20. Casciano, 19. Miranda, 18. Hannafin, 17. Scumbag Logan Camden, 16. 15, Chickster. 14, Dom Gutierrez. 13, Jewel. 12, Marsman Gaming. 11, Jack Saban. 10, Jackson Fida. 9, Jackson Law. 8, Carl Heiser. 7, James Herrick. 6, Garrett Burrows. 5, Isaiah Wardlaw. 4, Bagdonis. 3, Mark Izzo. Crazy. 2, Griff. 1, me. Anything that stands out for July?
Wardlaw at 5 was real surprising just because he doesn't have a ton of posts on the site.
Crazy.
Less than 50 posts and he's sitting at 5. It's that's not, that's kind of surprising to me. Like,
fucking kid had his article sponsored by FanDuel too. I mean, Jesus Christ, Wardlaw, get it in high gear. I mean,
yeah.
let's go, man.
The production of articles and the amount of views and recognition is not lining up. Well, like that's it's like that's not even me trying to be mean. It's like
I know.
that's better than like no one reading it at all. So it's like if you post more, you're already doing well. So if your production increases, I think it's a positive in my opinion.
I was just waiting for Griff to talk shit on the group because, I mean, he did some damage in July.
Yeah. He did a lot of damage. And I'm not really surprised he's two just because he had, I don't know how many posts he had, but I imagine it's a ridiculous number, the amount of posts he
I
had.
was kind of hoping he'd share his paycheck with the group because he actually did pretty well.
Yeah. That's what happens when you pump out however many articles he did. I mean, it shouldn't come as a surprise, but he did good work.
August, since we're almost done with August. 20, Jared Prosser. 19, Chickster. This one's funny. 18, Arv Reina. Talk about the power of SEO.
Wow.
Unbelievable. I think 90% of his posts are fantasy football. I couldn't tell you the last time he did a blog, but
it's probably over 6 months. Gotta be.
What does that tell you about the power of SEO? Arv, 18. Crazy. 17, Casciano. 16, Scott Logish. 15, Matt Hannafin. 14, Dom Gutierrez. 13, Wardlaw. 12, Bagdonis. 11, Max Everett. 10, Mark Izzo. So he's still 10th and didn't fucking do anything.
The WWE section is pumping out views, apparently.
9, Griff. 8, new guy, Faden Clout. 8, Jewel. 7, Jackson Law. 6, Jack Saban. 5, James Herrick. 4, Carl Heiser. 2, Garrett Burrows. 1, me.
The Dom Gutierrez one kind of surprises me as well because he's not someone who's been posting a ton either, but it's still bringing in views. So like,
yeah,
I mean, what can you say when?
What does this tell you? I mean, the power of SEO, man. I mean, these people aren't even showing up.
Mm-hmm.
These people aren't even showing up and they're collecting.
Mm-hmm. Jewel as well. Jewel doesn't post at all. And
I think it's been like a year since he's posted a blog.
Yeah. Here he is sitting comfortably in the 15 slot right around there every month. So
crazy. Two things before I get to the Google form. Number one, we lost Casciano.
Oh, really?
Casciano's gone. He got hired by an NIL company. Cool, I guess.
So did he just not want to stay on? Because like
I guess so.
It doesn't sound like that would be a competitor. I might be wrong, but
it's not a competitor.
I don't know why you couldn't do both.
I don't know either.
Or even just have this on the back burner while you do that. But
I had this conversation with him after he finished his internship. I had the same conversation with anybody. You should shoot for 10 blogs a day. If you do 10 blogs a day, you're going to do pretty well. I don't know how many blogs he did, but it couldn't have been many over the last 2 months. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he basically promised to do a baseball podcast, and I don't know what the fuck happened to that. Do you remember that shit?
Yeah. I remember he like announced that
announced this big baseball podcast is coming. Had the graphic team put together shit for him. Where the fuck was that, man?
That's a shame because it's like he was doing like he was just MLB and NFL, and he was getting the news posts. It's like it's not like he was like doing anything groundbreaking, but like he was a productive member that was helping.
He sent me a thing like if you want to reach out to me in the future, here's my email. It's like not gonna do that.
Well, he could like. Would you have let him stay on if he was like, I just want to take a step back and work on this? It's like,
I mean, I don't ever fire people.
Yeah, that's a shame. I liked him, and he was doing the Daily Show too.
I liked him too.
Yeah, that's a shame. Is this like just happened like over the last week or?
Basically, yeah.
Okay, that's a shame.
I wanted to get your thoughts on this too because both of these kids, Arizona State kids. Did you have any thoughts on the scumbag Logan Canton? Because I didn't like the way Casciano left, but at least he's like a good hang. Like he's like, a guy that I'd like to have in the room, basically.
Yeah. He like if I saw him in person, like just bumped into him, I'd be like, "Oh, hey man, what's up?"
Yeah.
Like I would
Correct.
he's a cool guy. But
Correct.
it's like I don't know. I honestly never really talked to Logan Camden much while he was here. I don't
Okay.
know that he made an effort to talk to people while he was here, to be honest.
Which is
He
just
never
dumb.
he never did the Daily Show.
Which
I
which
don't
is just dumb. I mean, what we do that intern quiz for a reason. The number one thing is like, try everything, make connections.
Mhm. He talked in the chat a little bit in some like in peak NBA season when there's like NBA arguments in the chat once a week. He'd chime in like once in a while on those, but it's like I don't really feel like I knew him that well. So, and in all honesty, I watched last episode. I
Okay.
agreed with a lot of what Garrett said about like I feel like he could have done some good stuff here. Like if he would have done more shorts, like his shorts were good, but like the way he went out, it's like come on, like that rubbed me the wrong way as it sounds like it did you. So I'm with you on that. Is the way he went out.
I wanted to hear your take because I don't know. I think I fucking laid into the kid a little bit.
Yeah, you laid into him pretty well, and I mean, like I don't know what he expected when like the way that he ghosted you. He practically ghosted you guys on the exit meeting.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Only person to ever do it in the history of the company.
yeah, when you're the only person doing something in the history of the company, that's either really good or really bad. And
Yeah.
he was on the really bad side, and he got treated like he did something really bad. So I can't like, I guess like he deserved it. Like, but I'm with you. I'm with you on everything he did. So I mean,
Yeah.
I would have maybe not done it the same way, but I'm not gonna sit here and complain about what you
What do you
did.
think's going to happen if we ever bump into him?
Mm. It sounds like you know what you're gonna do if you bump into him. I think you've made that decision.
Yeah.
I probably won't say anything to him. Like I have no desire to, and I never talked to him, so I'm not gonna be like, oh hey, or I just walk right past him. That would be my approach.
So that's all you got on it.
Yeah, I don't really have that big of an opinion just because I barely knew him at all, which I think is a testament to what he did while he was here.
Okay. All right. So before the show, I asked you what's the over under for responses that we're going to get on this Google form? How many do you think turned it in?
Well, I have a little bit of background information or a little bit of a background guess just because of a message and two that we had before this. So I'm kind of expecting it to be low. I'm going to say 10. If you would have asked me this just blind out of the gate, with without us talking about it at all, I probably would have went a little bit higher than that. But based on the conversation we had about this, my guess is 10 out
So
of 50, plus or minus a couple, but out of 50 people.
So yeah, around 50. We got 16 actually. 16.
Really?
16.
Okay.
Yeah. The line I had was 15. 15 would have been a 30% response rate, which I thought is already low.
Yep.
But this is my question, and I'll ask it again. Do you think we need a survivor? Do you think we need a survivor? Because hey, NFL cut days today, teams are rounding down their rosters to 53. I just think based on some of the responses that we got, I came across very well. And regardless of the decision that I make about this, that I think people will be in support of it.
Yeah, I don't think many people would complain based on the last month or 2 months of production. I don't know when exactly there was a dip in production,
August.
but let's be honest. It's like the last month. We'll just say a month.
Yeah.
It's been you outposting the group 90% of days, maybe probably higher.
The old rule used to be if I outposted the group, somebody was getting voted out.
Yeah. And there's a lot more people here now than there were back then.
Have you been here for a Survivor yet?
No. Nope. I've never had the Survivor experience. Big Survivor fan of the actual TV show. Side note.
Did you ever watch any of the episodes?
Yes, I have seen some of the episodes,
Okay.
which I think a lot of the people getting voted out and a lot of people on the chopping block and a lot of them I didn't know just because they were so before my time, which I think is also a testament as to why they were on the block and why they were being voted out.
This is
So,
this is one of the takeaways that I got from the Google form. I came across even better than I thought I was going to. Because in my head, I'm like, I'm not doing enough. I got to do this. I got to do that. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do?
yeah.
Every decision that I make, people seem to be in favor of. And the ones that aren't are gone. And the
Mhm.
ones that aren't here, people seem to want them gone anyway.
I will say this off the back of that. There was one of the questions on the form, which was I don't know if this was one of your things you wanted to talk about, but it was what are your confidence going into fall? I said 10 out of 10 Trey, 6 out of 10 group. Because I was like, I know Trey is gonna work. I have no like doubt in my mind that Trey is gonna like work in post articles, but how much production are we gonna get outside of that? So I think that is like that was my opinion. And it's like, I know you're gonna work. I know you're gonna post articles. I know like I don't have to worry about you like just disappearing for a week and not doing anything. So it's like I said 10 out of 10 you and then 6 out of 10 the rest of the group. I would have been higher a month ago, I think, but based off the last month we've had dipped that quite a bit just because like I said earlier, the production has dipped, so it makes it harder to give it a higher score.
So my question to you is, this is my thinking. NFL cut days today. You know, you got to get down to the 53-man roster. The NFL season's about to start. That's need everybody in high gear. I think we hold it first day of the NFL season, the Thursday night. People that are watching Cheese get a little bit of a head start. Every blog you turn in on September 7th gives you a vote. So if you're watching Cheese, you have an advantage. You know when it is.
Yeah, and people should be watching Cheese. So if you're not watching and it catches you by surprise, well, maybe you should be on the block, to be honest.
Well, that's a different question. What are your thoughts on the people that don't watch Cheese? Because I don't know. I don't want to pump my own tires, but like, I feel like if the leader of any company gives inside information, and this is supposed to help the company anyway, we want people to watch, we want views, we want outside interest. I don't know. I just think it's very dumb to not watch it. And I would
Yeah.
say the same thing about the guy that does the Barstool show, about the inside shit or any of it, anything.
It doesn't make any sense. And you get an inside look at the company. And it's like we like if we were in an office, right? In at a normal work setting, I think you'd have a little bit more you'd have a better understanding of where everybody fits in a company. But it's like since we're doing this all virtually right now, you watch That's Some Cheese and you get an understanding of where everyone sits at the company. You get an understanding of what's going on at the company. It's like it's literally just giving you information that you are like missing out on by not being in person, in my opinion. It's like I and it's like once we move in person, I imagine it'll change a little bit and it'd still be worth watching. But right now, I think it's even worth watching more since we're not in person. I think it's like a no-brainer.
So are you in for the Survivor or it's
Yeah,
too harsh? I shouldn't do it.
I don't see why not, especially
Okay.
since you're giving a heads up. You're giving a heads up. It's not like it's coming out of the blue. You're giving a heads up and you don't fire people. So I don't see why not. If people are upset, then it's like they didn't watch the warning. If you're not a fan of Survivor, do post and on September 7th and it won't be an issue.
I said that I was going to take it away. People seem to think that I was being too harsh about it, but I think maybe once a year it's needed. Once a year.
I think it's different when it's like when every time you outpost it, like if we would have had a Survivor 8 times this month, I think
Oh, that
it's
would be
different.
brutal.
Yeah, it would have been brutal. And it's like if we're doing it, 3 times a week, I think it's different than if we're doing it once a year.
Once a
You know
year,
what I mean?
NFL cut day.
I don't see why not.
And I think we got a list of like 20 that could easily go.
On the block.
I think so.
You obviously don't have to listen now. That we can save that for the episode, but I imagine there's going to be some names, and I go, huh? I'm going to be surprised when I hear some names.
Yeah. So September 7th, every blog you turn in that day, you get a vote. Somebody will get voted out. We'll see how it goes. Plus, if you don't do your end of the year review anyway, you're already gone. So I'm sure that it won't just be one either.
Mm-hmm. Which, once again, end of the year review, not a big ask.
No. So there was a bunch of different questions. I'm going to go through all of them. Basically, ask people about the new design. I'll leave that stuff for Scarlett. Send it over to her. Nothing really surprising. Maybe some minor issues, search bar, sometimes laggy. Other than that, we'll send it to Scarlett. I just wanted to make a quick little point of responder number 3. Responder number 3 had the worst answers of all time. Just the worst answers of all time. His answer to the open-ended question. You're going to find this funny. How does rev share revenue work? Like, how much do we actually earn? That was the exact quote. What a fucking asshole.
Man.
That guy should be slapped.
Ugh. That's like...
Of all the things you want to know about in this Google form, how does somebody not know how it works?
Maybe they're new. I mean, maybe it's one of the new interns. That's the only thing
I think I know who it is. I know for a fact they are new, but why waste my time and meet with the fucking people?
Yeah, that's like
I tell everyone how it works.
Yeah, that's...
How is that your answer in the fucking response?
There's probably a pinned message somewhere in one of the chats that explains how it works. So
there is.
Not very resourceful to use that as your last question.
So, 2 side notes before I go over the main questions. I wanted to gauge this is basically why I really wanted you on the show today. Topic number 1, I mean, what's going to happen with this daily show? I mean, there's got to be. Let me read response number 2. Were you response number 2? I don't think you were.
I did it pretty early. I might be.
Actually, think you were response number 2. Okay, so I'm just gonna read your response here for the. How do you feel about the state of the Twitch YouTube? I like the baseline content. I just think we need more. We do not have a ton of people with heavy video effort. That's true. I would consider scrapping the Daily Show if it does not gain traction soon. This is James Herrick. Sorry if I exposed you for your answer.
No, you're good. You're good.
It is just 2 people talking about random topics. Fact. The 2 people on the show are basically whoever is available, which can make it hard to have a decent discussion if they do not write about the same sport. Also true. I believe the effort put towards the Daily Show could be more effective on more blogs or videos discussing a singular topic. The one positive of the Daily Show is it essentially makes people put in effort since it has to happen every day. If it's scrapped, people may not actually be productive with the time saved on it. I don't have anything else to add.
The one thing that I will say that I do really like about the Daily Show that I did not mention there and I thought about it after was I do like being able to sit down with someone from the site and talk. That in itself, I think I know people from the site a lot better because I've recorded the Daily Show with them on a handful of occasions. I'll use Matt Hannafin, for example. I think I've done the Daily Show with him a handful of times, and those are like the only times I've talked to him outside of a handful of streams. And I like Matt. I think I know him a little bit better since we've done the Daily Show together. So I also like that about the show, which I didn't really include in the answer and thought about afterwards. So that's another positive that I kind of left out. But the thing about the Daily Show, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm slamming Jerry in my answer, because I did the scheduling at the very start of the show, and I was doing the same thing Jerry was.
I gave him a that boy at the start for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like at the end of when you look at his poll that he does every single week, who's available to come on the Daily Show, how many thumbs up are there?
It's right now there's 0 for this week.
Yeah, which I talked to him earlier, and I forgot to leave the message, but I talked to him, and I'm doing it today. But it's like it's hard to it's hard to schedule when we're not getting a ton of effort from the people going on the Daily Show. So it's like I don't think the shows themselves are that great because it's like, hey, what are we talking about today? And you just sit down and talk for an hour. And it's like one of the things that I also talked about in my responses was I was like, we could do podcasts for individual sports. Like, in my opinion, it makes more sense to do an MLB podcast, for example, and have two people from the MLB section talk once a week about the MLB rather than having two people from the company talk about whatever they align to talk about. Or it's like we've had me, Jerry, and Anthony on to do UFC previews and recaps. That's a UFC podcast. It's like if we had a UFC podcast, that's what it would look like. Obviously, some changes, some format stuff probably, but it's like that's a UFC podcast, and we're just doing it on the Daily Show basically. So it's like I don't know.
I have a lot of thoughts. I don't even know where to go with it. Scrapping it, there's pros and cons. I think there's pros and cons to each side.
I agree with that.
Scrapping it, I don't think it would be the worst idea in the world. However, I think you're right in the sense that, I mean, it's good that you guys actually talk to each other. It's good that you guys are actually, building something. But at the same time, it's a lot of wasted time. I mean, and especially when Hannafin does it. I mean, he doesn't shut the fuck up. He goes for an hour and a half. Like, dude, man, don't you got shit to do? You got two other sites you're working for. You're doing the editing. You're doing this and that. I mean, you don't got an hour and a half to spare, man.
He does a lot of work here, and he does the Daily Show just as much, if not more, than anyone else.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about the Daily Show is it's like the people who are blogging do the Daily Show. So it's like, how many more blogs could Toothpaste put out if he wasn't taking an hour out of his day to do the Daily Show?
At the same time, I'm not sure it translates. I'm not sure people would actually use their time.
I think some people would. I don't think everyone would. Like,
therein lies the problem.
Yes. Toothpaste is an example of someone who would probably, instead of sitting down for an hour on the Daily Show, he would probably use that to write blogs. Hannafin would probably do something in the hour that he's recording the Daily Show.
Yeah.
You can't say that for everyone. So they, like you said, that is the problem of scrapping it in its entirety.
And I actually think it could work, but it's not organized. And if it's going to work, there needs to be 3 YouTube shorts that come out of the episode. There needs to be, hey, let's put out a social media tweet. This is what we're talking about today. Like, hey, this is the combo for today. I mean, there is no organization. It's show up and talk, and it's just not good enough.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's one of the reasons I was also hesitant to even say that as my answer, the idea of scrapping it, because there is potential. It's like, it's hard to walk away from something that has potential.
And nobody fucking tries to even talk about the company. Like, nobody even tries. And that was the whole point.
I'll be honest with that. That's like, for me, it's kind of hard. Like there's some days where it's like, I wouldn't even know what to try to talk about with the company. And it's like, sometimes I feel like it's like, I don't want to, how do I word this? It's like, I don't want to step on any toes because it's like, maybe that might not be the right way to phrase it. But
give me
it's
a
like,
break.
How do I phrase this? It's like, what do I talk about with the company? I don't know what I'm talking about, to be honest. I don't know how to phrase what I'm trying to say, which is not a very good, representation of my intelligence. But
this one sort of ties into the topic. I think the Daily Show changes are going to be made on either side. Either it's going to be scrapped or there's going to be some kind of adjustment made, one way or the other. And you're not the only response to say that either. Yeah. Let me pull up another response.
I will also say real quick, once the Daily Show is another thing that would be better in person, in my opinion, once we get to that point. So maybe it's put on the back burner while we get to that point as a company.
Somebody else had. Oh, here it is. Response number 1. The Twitch outside of you streaming is dead. While the Daily Show in theory is a good idea, I fear it's almost a waste of time because it gets next to no views. It just lacks excitement and entertainment value. Again, it's a great idea, but I believe it should be shelved until there's significantly more staffing here. That plus that hour plus spent every, I don't know what the fuck he's trying to say here. Recording yesterday's news can be spent writing. Just my 2 cents. This is the problem, though. Nobody's. I mean, in an hour, I could turn out 4 blogs, but nobody else is going to do
it. Yep. I mean, that's what we talked about earlier, and it's like, it's a lot easier to say that hour can be used better if the chat had 20 posts in it every day. Like, if the chat had 20 posts in it every day, and we go, well, maybe we cut the daily show so we can get more writing. But when the chat has 5, it's harder to say that the time is not being used efficiently.
Yeah. All right. So this next one kind of ties in. People had a lot of questions for Jeremiah. I did not expect this. A lot of comments about Jeremiah. It might take me a second to find all of them, but a lot of questions about Jeremiah. Did you expect that?
Well, we've already talked about one of my answers. So I talked about Jeremiah in mine.
Did you?
So, yeah. Which I can say what I said if we want, where you're looking for the response.
Yeah. Say what you said.
I basically just said it was the least favorite writer. And I didn't use this. Not to say I dislike Jeremiah, because I really like Jeremiah. But my question was, or my statement was, I feel like there's wasted potential here. I think Jeremiah is a very, very cool dude. I like talking with him when we've done the Daily Show together. But he doesn't come on the Daily Show that often, and he doesn't write a ton of blogs. And one of the things I said in my response was like, could you imagine if Jeremiah was writing MLB blogs? Yeah. It's like, I know he can write MLB blogs. He's a smart dude. And it's like, if he was writing MLB blogs, that helped the MLB section so much. So I don't, that was the way I phrased it, was that, it was like wasted potential, because I do think he's a smart dude and can do good work.
Got another one here. Response number 16. Jeremiah seems more of a quality of quantity writer. Shame, because he can absolutely grow into something if he's able to. I mean, that hits the nail on the head right there. Not?
No, I'm 100%. Well, that's basically what I said in my response too. It's like, I don't want to make it seem like I'm bashing the dude, because I like Jeremiah, but I know for a fact he can do really, really good work, and we just don't get a lot out of it.
This is my thought. The problem is he was already pretty much asked to do it. He used to be in charge of the Daily Show. He gave up those responsibilities. I gave it to Jerry. But basically what Sophie is doing with the gaming channel is what he should be doing with the podcast channel. Like, my biggest fear is we can the Daily Show, and now the podcast YouTube channel is just dead. And I don't want us to be like, I know our blog is way ahead of our podcast. I understand that, but I don't think our podcast should be zero. Like, if just somebody was running that podcast thing, and there's shorts going out from the shows, and there's little 5-minute clips from the shows, or there's little segments from the Daily Show put on there, it wouldn't really take that long to get it popular. It really wouldn't. If there was just any effort into it.
That's another reason I think individual podcasts would make more sense. And then you just put that like responsibility of like clipping shorts and doing that type of stuff on the individual person whose podcast it is.
There was one response. I actually think it might have been him. But here's another one about the basically any additional comments for the sports section. I've already talked about the MLB section and think more can be done. Aside from that, in the chats I'm in, we seem to have the right people in place. I mean, I wish our MLB section, and we have people in there.
Mm-hmm. The talent is there to do it. For example, Saban scouting reports. I feel like those were good and they did well. And it's like, that's an example. That's some of the best content to come out of the MLB section, throughout the course of the year. And it's like, the MLB section is more than capable of making good content. And there's a handful of people that are able to do it out of the section.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go through each question and pick a couple responses that I like out of it. So, what does Vendetta mean to you? Do you have brand awareness? This one was my favorite response in here because I actually think the person doesn't have brand awareness. Vendetta is a new take on journalism and embodies the passion of true sports fans. As for having brand awareness for Vendetta, yes, I do. I don't think this person does have brand awareness.
I think they're close.
Yeah, okay.
Like,
fair.
I think that they've like if you were to extend it past like part A, that'd be part B. You know what I mean? Like that kind of comes out of the main mission, but that's not necessarily the main mission.
I don't know. I just to use the passion line. I don't know if that's I
Oh,
don't know
that's
if
true.
that works.
If we were marking this on a correct or incorrect, it would be incorrect.
Fact.
I was trying to be nice.
You don't have to.
Yeah, I can be a little bit overly optimistic sometimes.
I like this response. 100% bought into the mission. Seeing the company grow in such a way over the past few years has solidified my beliefs and validates what I do. That's a good one.
That is a very good answer.
I don't know who was that, but I like it.
I like that too.
How about this one? Vendetta as a whole means a lot to me. Whenever I say I write for them to my friends and classmates, I say it with pride because I know we're going to be something big. I know what we represent in sports media field and what we can truly do in the future. I like that one too.
That's a very good answer. Doesn't necessarily explain what the company is, but you know, they have pride in the company, so that might mean more, to be honest.
How about this one? Truth be told, Vendetta has started to mean more to me the longer I've been here. Seeing how many different educated, smart people we have immediately was a draw for me and pushed me to be better and learn more. That, in an essence, is what Vendetta means to me. A platform where I can make sure my voice is heard and not just in a monotone robot type of way. How about that one?
That's a great one. These answers are a little bit more heartfelt than I was expecting, to be honest.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, I didn't expect. Now, response number 3 was an asshole. But other than that.
Oh, man. Can we read it? I want to hear it.
No, just responder number 3 in general. Like,
oh, okay. I thought you meant their answer to that.
Here's responder number 3 for how do you feel about the leadership direction of the company? Responder number 3 just said good.
Okay, so they were just trying to get
fucking dickhead.
All right. So we got 15 responses and respondent number 3.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. This one was okay. Vendetta is I am better at this than everyone else who claims to know what they are doing. I don't know if they got inside my brain, but I think they tried to.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah. All right. Yes, but all those were pretty good, I thought.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
State of the blog. So you used my NFL draft notes. So I kind of wanted to hear you talk about this a little bit more now that I know that this is you.
Yeah, I will. Do you have the answer up? Because I don't remember exactly.
I can read it.
Okay.
I think the best content on the site is the context that flexes out knowledge on a sport in comparison to the mainstream narrative. Fact.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the best things that we do here are things that are, I don't want to say different, might not be the right word, but more educated or more accurate than what you see in the mainstream. And I use your draft notes as an example because it's not influenced by what other people say. It's your opinion, and your opinion is what 99% of the time more accurate. So it's like
I usually go with 98.7 or
right.
Yeah.
Fair.
1.3% of the time I'm way off.
So it's like, but it's like that type of content you can't get anywhere else because it is way more accurate. And for people that are trying to learn something while they're reading an article, you will learn way more from that type of content. So that I think is what we do best out of anything else in the blog. I think that is our best type of content that goes out. Obviously, you need the news and stuff like that, but that is the stuff that makes us different from other people.
Well, I wanted to ask you this. Maybe I wanted to pump my own tires a little bit. Have you found any draft notes that are even remotely close to the same style as mine?
I kind of stopped reading other ones, to be honest.
Really? That's the best compliment I've ever fucking heard in my life. That might be the best compliment I've ever heard in my life.
Like,
wow.
When Oh, when I started at Vendetta, I didn't really know your full history of NFL draft stuff, right?
Okay.
But
No, I
when I
like it.
got
Keep
here,
going.
everyone was talking about how you were really good at NFL draft. And I was like, well, let me do a little bit of research. So I read some old articles and I'm like, stuff is pretty good. Like
What were the old ones that you found?
wide receiver rankings. I was just going back and looking
Okay.
at wide receiver rankings from different years.
I've been on fucking fire with the wide receiver one.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, well, hold on a second. This stuff's pretty good. I think I read the Mitch Trubisky, the Trubisky post as well. It was either Trubisky or Mayfield. Don't remember off the top of my head.
I blasted both of them, but in different ways.
2 for 2. I just don't remember which one I read at the beginning. So I was like, all right, this stuff is proven to be more accurate. So why would I not read it in the future?
That
it would just be dumb to stop reading it and then start reading other stuff.
That NFL draft where it was Deebo Samuel, AJ Brown, DK Metcalf, I just had it 100% accurate. Like 100%. I didn't fucking miss on a single player in that wide receiver class.
That must feel good to look back.
Oh, it was like, great. Yo. I think the only guy I was like 15% too low on was McLaurin. That was it.
It's just like, even then, if you go 3 for 3 on the top 3 and you're a little bit too low on number 4, it's like, we can live with that.
And Keel Harry, I thought he was fucking terrible. Like I nailed that whole class.
Yeah. Like, that's a prime example of what makes Vendetta different in comparison to other companies. Because no one else had those rankings, by the way.
No. Nobody else called it Mr. Trubisky a 6th round pick.
Yeah, exactly. That might be generous, but
might be generous looking back on it. You're right. And the 6th rounder was only because he could run a little bit. All right. This person says, I like the roundtables for sure. NBA content needs an upgrade. I don't disagree with this person.
I think NBA is in a similar position to MLB, where the talent is in place. We just got to capitalize on it. And we talked about that a little bit.
Do you think Hannafin knows he's in charge of the NBA channel now? Or did I not stress that enough? I guess it depends on if you watched last week.
I don't know. I feel like he's a pretty smart guy. He probably figured it out. But, well,
if you ask him, you should fade all of his picks because he's not smart.
Oh, dude, I've had a little trip with Hannafin and his betting. He texted me or messaged me on Slack and was like, hey, I've got a UFC bet. I never bet on UFC. I bet Khalil Roundtree and Hakeem Dawodu. So just be careful because I should always be faded. And he was like, I read your predictions and that's how I got to my bet. And I was like, all right, man, I didn't tell him this, but I put down the same bet. I don't bet very much, so it's not a big deal. But first leg, Khalil Roundtree knocks Chris Dawkins out in a minute. Great bet. Second bet, Hakeem Dawodu wins and then gets absolutely robbed by the judges. Awful decision. So the Hannafin picks are cursed. And the first time he bet on
just like my rookie picks in fantasy. I swear to God, my rookie picks in fantasy are fucking cursed. Justin Ross has like this weird neck medical issue. I took him as a freshman at Clemson. Thought I had a 1st round pick on my hand.
He was a dog too.
I picked
when he was young.
Do you remember Marcus Lattimore, the South Carolina running back?
Yo,
fucking had him done.
That knee was bad too.
I had the Giants running back David Wilson, broke his fucking neck. Done. I had Andrew Luck for $70, fucking retires.
Oh, and there's nothing you can do about that.
Nope.
I just supposed to see that coming.
Branson Robinson just fucking tore his patellar. I just picked him this year. That was awesome.
Man. Hopefully he's all right.
Should be, but nothing else on the state of the blog. Seems like people are good. Oh, this one I wanted to read too. I love the NFL content, obviously. Sometimes I don't understand why we do food reviews, but then again, that's not my specialty. How about a ricochet shot at fucking food blogger Jackie? What's with that shit?
Man, come on. We've already established I'm respondent number 2, and that was not me. So I'll just put that out.
I think somebody maybe skipped answering that one, and then
okay.
So it was either maybe 1 or 2, or maybe response 3 or 4, something like that.
I just want to say that was not me because we were right in my range.
Who gave fucking food blogger Jackie a ricochet shot?
I mean,
a little offended.
What's Jackie ever done to hurt anybody? It's like, come on, man.
I like the food blogs.
Yeah. And it's like, what are we going to do if we don't have them? It's just we don't have them anymore. So we go from having blogs to not having them. Doesn't make any sense.
Okay,
Side note, food blogger Jackie was above quite a few people when we did the views numbers. So,
yes. So was this you that said I started to listen to That Some Cheese show and I enjoyed a lot, or no? That was not you.
No. I do listen to it, but that was not my response.
So I think that was maybe response number 2 or 3. How about this one? I wanted to gauge your response on this one for the state of the Twitch YouTube. This one, I kind of want to know who this person was. The FIFA content just doesn't seem to move the needle enough given the time spent on it. I don't even know when the last time I played FIFA. I think it was like 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And the shorts do well.
Come on, man.
Like, come on.
Come on, man. I'm pumping out all these blogs that can't play a little FIFA once in a while, and I'm turning it into content.
Yeah.
I want to know who's bashing my FIFA shit.
I don't blame you. Hey, if you are doing that many blogs, you get to do FIFA as well. It's like, come on.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not the one editing it. So
yeah,
it's not like I'm recording all that shit and, taking time out of my day to edit it. I don't know.
And we had the video editors for it.
I want to know who doesn't like my FIFA content.
Come on. And the shorts do well. Do the shorts not do well? The shorts get views. So
and I only hey, cut this up if it's like a crazy ass goal. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Come on.
Have you seen any of the FIFA stuff? I don't expect you to watch it, but
I've watched a couple, but I fell behind and then stopped watching, to be honest. Yeah. It's hard to keep up with because there is a lot of it.
Here's one. I love the cheese. Whatever that means. The lead word in most of the other YouTube. Can't say I don't like anything that goes out. That's good.
Oh, that's positive. Let's go.
There's one person that listed opinion pieces under like 5 different categories.
And for like positive or negative?
For we don't do enough opinion pieces on YouTube, blogs, anything. This person hates our news content and wants more opinion pieces. Whoever that is.
I mean, I like opinion pieces, but you need the news content as well. You can't just abandon news content.
Yeah. All right. Next question. How do you feel about the state of the podcast group? Which I don't even feel good about the state of the podcast group. Was this one you where it's like I would not hate the idea of a podcast for each sport?
Yeah. That was
okay.
Me.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit? You talk about Carl Cervantes.
Yeah, that was who I used as an example of like I think that's a good example of Cervantes, Carl, 2 great college basketball minds that have a podcast. It's a good podcast. It's like I feel like we can do that with other sports as well. It's like we have enough smart NFL people to where if we do a weekly, every other week, however that gets panned out. But it's like I feel like we have enough smart people in every section to have a podcast. Now, does it get done consistently? And is it approached correctly? That's a different discussion. But I feel like we have enough smart people to have a good podcast for every sport that we have or write about.
I think more than anything, we need the producer help. Like we just don't have the people cutting shit up.
That's probably true. I don't think it's hard to produce the show as you're doing it, but it's hard to edit it after the fact.
There's only 2 responses here that I think are good. I think the podcasts are in a really good place. I would disagree. I think our podcasts are okay. Obviously,
I don't even know what that's based off. We don't even have that many.
That's what I was saying. These are the 2 I want to read. Obviously, Cheese is at the top of my watch list, but I'm trying to view more of them when I have spare time. I don't know which other ones are even out.
The lead word, maybe? And maybe they're talking about so they want to listen to the lead word more?
Yeah. Podcast group is fine. Cheese still carries. Jimmer has inconsistent recording schedule. Lead word is solid. I think that sums it up the best, whoever that was.
Jimmer just doesn't record in the summer, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
I think the podcast group is good, but I like the idea of an actual sit-down podcast when Vendetta goes to Vegas. I mentioned that at the beginning. That's happening.
That seems pretty, like, not to make fun of this person, but that seems pretty obvious. Like, when we're in person, the podcast will be in person. That seems pretty
Yeah. All right. State of the social media. I think this was you. I like the Twitter. I don't have much to say about the rest of the social media team.
Yeah, probably. I honestly, this was the one I had the hardest time answering because I was like, what am I gonna like? We don't like when I'm gonna talk about the TikTok. Like we barely post anything on TikTok, but I like the Twitter. I think the highlights are a good idea. It's like I just didn't know what direction to go, to be honest with you, because we don't have like a massive social media presence to critique. Maybe that could have been my critique.
I think this was the most accurate response on the social media team. Social media team feels kind of non-existent right now that the summer class is gone. Hannafin does a good job, though.
Yeah, I agree with that. That was what I was trying to say. They said it better than me.
Fair enough. Fair enough. How about this person said maybe a bit more promotion would gain more followers?
I don't think that's true. I don't think promoting yourself gets people to follow you.
I agree.
Think good.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Maybe focus on getting your own followers instead of worrying about the fucking promotions for the site, because I don't think those work at all.
Yeah, I'm with you.
This person said, we all see there's been some mistakes here and there with the interns, but on the whole, I don't think social is doing a bad job. I think they're kind of doing a bad job.
I think it depends what your expectations are. Yeah. If your expectations are for them just to post the articles in the chat, I don't really have any complaints. But if you want to gain some followers outside of that, then we're falling a little short.
Instagram, very bland. The designs, it's not fun. Need to get better graphics teams for that. True, but do you remember the frustrations I've had with the summer graphic team? I think
you can't just snap your fingers and have it done.
I think we hired 8 graphic people for the summer and none of them passed.
If it was easy as they made it sound, then it'd be done.
As for Twitter, I think it needs to cover news on the topics mentioned earlier. I don't know what that means. I think for TikTok, it needs to be a bit more engaging. Are people even posting on there?
I don't think so.
All right, last one. This is response number 16. The video team is good. Very good edits, and you never hear any issues with them. I agree with that. I believe a good social media team would do wonders for the site. I don't believe there's ever been a good team here. I think that's true. The people who did it in the summer messed up a handful of times, which is unprofessional, could stunt our growth. Fact. But getting 2 or 3 really dedicated, hard social media people would be huge. Our Twitter should have way more followers than it does. I think that was maybe the best response out of all of them.
Yeah. Fair. If we're grading this on correct or incorrect, correct.
Anything you would change about Vendetta? So your answer was the top 10 writers' reviews. I even made it 20. I actually think that was probably the best suggestion out of all of them. A lot of the responses on this one were wouldn't change a thing, wouldn't change a thing, and wouldn't change a thing. What does that tell you?
Shout out to Vendetta then. Looks like we're doing good.
Not even that. Like, hey, you want to say about Trey being an asshole? Go ahead.
Yeah, that would have been the opportunity to been like, I'd like Trey to tone it down. No one did.
This and it's all anonymous. Like, I would have never known who the fuck it was. I can maybe guess on some of the answers. Like, it might be this person, but
yeah, but you're not going to hold a vendetta over someone because when you're guessing answers.
Because I mean, there's a chance that I'm wrong on who it is. So, But there were a couple responses. I am freshly out of an internship, but would like to try to create my own stories and headlines sometimes. Nobody's saying you can't do that, can you?
Yeah.
Anybody say that you can't do that?
Yeah, that person should probably reach back out to their mentor and ask them some questions because they can do that.
It would also be cool if we had the opportunities to interview athletes at any level and put it on the site. Who said you can't do that?
Yeah, that is.
Did anybody say they can't do that?
That I think people would actually like that. Like if someone did that, people would be like, "Oh, good job!" Like, yes, let's go. Like, for the record, for anyone listening, if you get an interview with an athlete and put it on the site, no one is going to complain.
Nobody,
unless you do a real shitty job. If you do a shitty job, maybe we're having a different discussion. But I mean, it's like
I think you could be doing that now with some of the lower end UFC guys.
That is probably true. That is.
I just thought that response was funny. It was like, what would you change? It's like, I don't know if there's a policy in place to like you can't do those things. Like that's news to me.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they know. Imagine that person just starts getting interview after interview after interview now. That'd be hilarious.
Oh, that would be awesome.
They'd get a attaboy. They'd get a attaboy.
Yes, they would. Yes, they would. This one was interesting. More accountability for the writers. We're almost to the point where we can't have higher expectations. And if you can't do it, you're out. How about that response? If anything, that's confirmation that once a year Survivor should happen.
Yeah, that is true. That person should not complain about Survivor.
No.
I agree with some of that, disagree with some of it. We should hold ourselves to a standard.
I agree with that, yeah.
I also don't like the idea of just chucking people to the side if they're having some struggles. But so I'll go 50-50 on that. Maybe a little harsh, but I agree with the main point.
I mean, all the responses were the same. I'll just read two of them. I wouldn't change anything personally. I think the site, the way it is now, just needs time to progress and get where everyone needs it to be. Okay.
Fair.
Yeah. Cool. There's not anything I would fundamentally change. Obviously, there's some areas we need to improve on, but I like where we're headed and I'm excited for the future. That was basically the summary of all the fucking responses there. So, for as much as people want to say I'm harsh on people, I act a certain way, hey. Okay.
They had their chance. They had
their fucking chance. So I will continue to be me. I will continue to run it the best way that I possibly think. And it doesn't seem like the people that had the time to answer this questionnaire seem to have an issue with it.
Yeah, seems fair. And I think I might be off, but to me, I think this is because we have a lot of people who played sports growing up. Like,
good.
To me, it's like I wrestled growing up, so it's like if I'm not doing something right and I get, if you're like, James, what the hell are you doing? I'm not gonna be like, oh, come on, man. I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm an idiot. It's like I messed up. Like I feel like we have a lot of people that would agree with that.
Hey, maybe that's the secret. There's just a formula I follow, and some people don't fucking like it, but guess what? The ones that survive, I seem to like. So I'm not going to change.
Yeah, the formula works.
Here's your proof. Okay, where do we stand in terms of talent? Do we have the necessary people? Some interesting responses here. I believe yours was, I do think we have some really talented people and more concerned with the talented people we'll produce. I think that's the one you had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
College football news. I would love a college football person.
I mean, that's just a matter of getting somebody that's dedicated to college football.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
I always say, I think finding fantasy and college football are the single hardest thing to find.
Which I don't know. I know why it's hard for fantasy. I don't know why it's hard for college football. You'd think there'd be enough people that really, really love college football and like it more than the NFL.
I think the problem is there are so many people who are just clueless about recruiting. And if you don't know recruiting, you can't work here.
That is true.
Like if you're not going to follow the recruiting shit and like in terms, you said college football news, if you're not on top of that shit, you're not going to live up to our standard.
Yeah, that is true.
So
as far as fantasy goes, it's because a lot of people are not very smart when it comes to fantasy, which I think is very well stated here. I don't think that has ever been.
This is a separate side note. Maybe we could spend 2 minutes on it. I know we're going long here. We're almost done. What did you think of my Matthew Berry challenge?
I mean, now if what are the betting odds here? Trey minus 400, 300?
Wow, you think I'm gonna smoke him?
Yeah, I don't see any reason not to.
I mean, also, I did smoke Sean Allen, but I said I would hope that this one's a little bit more challenging because I mean Matthew Berry, he's got like 1 million followers. Like Sean Allen tweets once every 4 years. So
yeah, it's like Sean Allen was what? You were minus 10,000?
Yeah.
It's like, come on. we were taking layups there.
I think I beat him 58-8 or something too.
Yeah. And reading through the list, it's like a lot of them I agree with. It's like I think you're gonna hit on most of the predictions that you had. It's like the stances you took seemed like good places to take stances. So
Yeah. Okay. So I'll go through these. Where do we stand in terms of talent? Obviously, there's some real home run hitters here, and I want to be part of that group. You've got James Herrick, Trey, Matt Hannafin, Scarlett, Sophie, Jerry Walker. Those are the person that are the home run hitters in terms of this response.
well, shout out to whoever that person is for writing me down. Shout out to him.
Yeah. It's tough because not only would more people help, but more of the right people would help tremendously. The right people. Big stress on that. Griffin Cress and Jacksons don't grow on trees, sadly. Notice you said Jacksons, both Jacksons, I guess.
Fair enough. I mean, right? They got a point. You can't just go out there and find anyone that will do good work. So
This person, all caps. We need more soccer people. I think that's true.
yeah, a lot of soccer news, a lot of leagues out there.
This one gave his fucking response away. I won't read the whole thing. Toothpaste needs his floss and toothbrush alongside of him. By the way, Trey, I will be back on soon. School's just hitting me like a truck. Okay, Griff.
That's funny.
Yeah. I think that about covers it. Most people are happy. To sum it up, most people are happy with the talent that we have. It's just need more of them.
Yeah.
More of the right people, the one I read.
Yeah. I mean, and that's like, I don't think that's a surprise. It's like, yeah, we'd like someone who's really good at college football. It's like, I imagine everyone has been saying that for the whole time the site has been a thing. It's like, love a few more great college basketball writers. You know, it's like, great writers don't grow on trees, though. So it's like, you can only do so much with what we have right now. It's like, you can't just pick people off the streets and have them be great writers. It just doesn't happen.
So yours was the Trey 10 out of 10, group 6 out of 10 for confidence level with Vendetta heading into the fall.
Mm-hmm.
I think you basically said all of it. So I'm going to read a couple of these. 6 out of 10, never know how the group shows up. That's almost identical to what you said in your response.
Yeah. And for example, look at the difference between NBA free agency. NBA free agency, the group showed up.
Oh,
and
big time.
And we did great.
An underrated part of that, why our views were so high that month, I didn't do a single NBA free agency blog. Not one. I covered all of the ESPN firings by myself. It was happening on the same day. We were fucking churning that day.
Yep. That was a great day. And it's like, we can do that more often than we do.
Not bringing any interns in for fall isn't the greatest thing to hear. But again, I think we have the people we need to make it through fall and put up good numbers. We did bring in 3, but I don't think I even need a mentorship video.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are they any writers or all video?
One writer.
Okay.
Who hasn't done anything yet.
Have they been trained?
Nope. Hasn't even introduced himself in Slack.
All right. Well, that's not good. So
Supposed to start the 21st. So yeah. This one was funny. Right now, Trey makes it sound like it's going to be a war, and I'm kind of excited. You guys got some fucking violence in them.
I thought that was going to be a negative. I thought they were going to tone it down, but they were like, I'm pumped.
He says he's ready to carry the team, but I don't want him to have to do that. What a nice person.
Well, yeah, what a nice guy.
I want to be the person he relies on during the football year. It might be tough with school going on as well, but I think I'm ready. We'll see how it goes. How about that response?
I have a silly suspicion I know who that is, but well, I won't throw out their names, though.
Do you want to give me a hint?
I promise it's toothpaste.
I don't think it was.
You don't think so? Okay.
No. I think it might have been Wardlaw.
Okay. All right. I hope it was Wardlaw.
I hope it was Wardlaw. Maybe that's wishful thinking on my part.
If it was Wardlaw and he lives up to that and is pumping, I have high hopes that Wardlaw can pump out the NFL news. So I think he can do it.
My confidence is at an 8.5 out of 10. I think the NFL team is going to carry hard through the end of the year. That team should get out great content.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Hi, we got this. Okay. I'm confident Vendetta will continue to grow.
I like the optimism.
Yep. My confidence is around a 7 out of 10, given that I don't know how the fall class and how Trey has made proclamations about the group needing to give more effort. I'm confident in the leadership and the direction of Vendetta, but I'm not confident where I fit into that going forward. That's the response I think was maybe Jeremiah. Who else would say they're not confident about where they fit in?
I think that would explain.
Was that a Miranda response? Who else could it have been? I don't know.
I think Miranda has his place carved out a little bit more.
That's what I said.
Like Miranda's doing the Daily Show a little bit more, helping with some UFC. He does a lot of the film stuff too. So I'd probably guess that to be Jeremiah.
2 more. Very low. Not many useful employees.
Wow. Okay.
I think that might have been Scarlett, but I'm not positive. All right. One more. Confidence is high. Obviously, like I said, we need more people. Trey can't do it all, but I certainly will be able to do a lot. Views are going up. Just need more hands on deck. All that pretty much summarizes the response we got.
Yeah. I think it's pretty accurate too. So.
I did not realize how long this episode was going to be. I thought we were going to get through this pretty fast, but I am wrong.
I think that's a good thing, though. That means we got some responses to go over, which is better than us sitting here going, oh, well, we got 3 people who responded.
Yeah. All right. So these next 2, I think, are going to spark the most controversy in terms of favorite writer, least favorite writer. I feel like I could read all of these, but I'll try to do my best here. It has to be Carl. I think Carl has outstanding topic choice. I usually see his headline and get interested. Then I read the blog and it does not disappoint. I have spent a lot of time complaining about production, so I have to give Toothpaste credit because his output has been high since joining the company. What are your thoughts on that response?
That was me. I agree.
I know it's at the top here.
Just off the back of that, it's like in my response, I spent a lot of time talking about how, for example, earlier we talked about 6 out of 10 in the group because we haven't produced a lot in August. So it'd be hypocritical of me not to give Toothpaste some flowers because he's probably, in terms of post count, I think he does the most actual posts outside of you. So it's like, got to give him credit for that. And as far as Carl goes, every time Carl has an article I see pop up in social media, I go, I want to read that. So it's like, how can I not give him credit? Well, and also, I didn't say you because that's kind of a cop-out answer because I read your draft stuff all the time. So I think saying you is a little bit of a cop-out. I wanted to give some credit.
I actually was expecting more people to have your mindset of, oh, I'm going to list somebody that's not me. But I dominated the favorite writer section here.
Well, if I had to only pick one out of everybody, I'd pick you, but it feels a little like we're giving feedback to you about the company.
Yeah.
Is kind of doesn't really provide much insight into the group, in my opinion.
This is for me to see, because I basically want to say, because I believe this to be true. I think that there are just certain people that they put out a blog and people don't read it. And I want to know why and how can we fix it?
Yeah, probably.
All right. So we had basically a wide range of the same thing. We'll just start with yours first. You got a shout out here. I'm going to go James. I honestly don't watch much UFC, but watch enough to keep up with bigger things and enjoy/understand fights when I'm watching them. But when James is writing about the UFC, he does so in a way that makes it easy to understand. He clearly knows what he is talking about, and it's clear in his writing.
Hey, shout out to that person.
Hey, Einstein once said the biggest form of intelligence is to make the complex simple.
That has been like, even before I started here, that's been my biggest goal with UFC is I know not everyone understands fighting and what goes on. So I try to explain it so people can understand. So that means a lot that was one of their observations about my
See,
writing.
this is why we're doing this. This is going to give some motivation to people. Hey, this person's doing this right. This person's doing this wrong. Let's figure it out. One person that got a lot of fucking shit. Let me do one more. I can never skip an Andrew NHL post when I see one. Such a great guy and an amazing writer.
Shout out Andrew. I'd love to agree with that person, but I know nothing about the NHL, so it makes it hard to read the articles. But shout out to Andrew.
Okay, so other than that, the person that really dominated the headlines, Matt Hannafin. Matt Hannafin dominated the fucking headlines. So I just
Your
want to
favorite?
yeah.
Okay.
So
Good.
I'll read some of mine after, but I want to read some Hannafin ones. I don't think Matt Hannafin gets enough credit for being a legitimately good writer. Hannafin, I just think he's a class above most of the other writers here. Trey, because he's the model of consistency and sets the tone for the rest of us. Hannafin is an honorable mention.
Yeah.
And then there's one more here. I don't have a favorite, but I will name a handful that I will always read when they post. This is what I was going for. James Herrick, Toothpaste, Matt Hannafin, Chickster, and Jackson Law. When you post, I also read most of it, but I'm assuming you're referring to the rest of the staff. Your stuff is always gold.
That was a
So
good
some
answer.
shout outs for Matt Hannafin in here.
Yep. I kind of regret not listing him as well as one of my favorites because his NBA stuff, I've told him this before. I value his NBA opinion a lot. So his NBA articles are some of the best stuff that we put out.
Most of these responses were me. I'm not trying to pump my tires here, but I'll read a couple of the funny ones. Trey, dude is crazy. And even if I don't agree with his take, it's fun to read. I appreciate that response. Trey, some of the stuff he writes is fucking hilarious. His rant on why he hates people is a classic.
That was a classic. That was a classic.
I'm so happy that someone gave a shout out to that because I actually was like, wow, this is just great. And I hope people enjoy this.
I enjoyed it a lot.
I'm so happy that someone liked that blog.
I think a lot of people did. I'll chalk myself up there as someone who did. So,
least favorite writer. We already talked about the Pena wasted potential. Can we get him going? Can we just get him to do 5 baseball blogs a week, please? Just that would do wonders.
Yeah. And it's not like, once again, I want to reiterate that I don't dislike the Pena. I really like the guy, and I put him because I know he can do good work. And that's probably how a lot of people felt, that I know he can do good work.
Yeah. I mean, I will put this out there. If he could just run the podcast channel the way Sophie is running the gaming channel, it would be an enormous boost for the company. But I don't know if that's on the table. It's on the table if he wants it. All right. Least favorite writer. Got some interesting responses here. A lot of them didn't want to say.
Come on, it's anonymous.
There was actually 2 different responses for Germani, not including yours. The other one, I mentioned one before, but the other one was, don't really have one, to be honest. I don't think I've ever seen Germani actually post, so I guess him.
Which is kind of a cop-out answer, but I think it addresses the issue that we just talked about. So
most people didn't want to say, but there are 2 that did. Griffin Crest has the volume, which he can't knock him for. But a lot of his blogs read like he's just trying to meet the minimum word count. Not always my favorite, just from a pure reading perspective. That's an interesting response because you know what? I'll let you respond, but I don't necessarily disagree with the point. I wish when Griff does his blogs, because I think it's pretty obvious that he's just trying to do the best that he can. He's trying to get the most that he cover. He's feeling like he's got to help the group. Maybe spend an extra 5 minutes on every blog to make sure that it's a high quality blog, that it's not just word filler. It's, you made a couple good zingers in there. You made somebody laugh, that kind of shit.
I think that also comes from doing so many news posts. I don't think Griff does as much opinion, which I think is in my opinion, it's a little bit harder to flex some of your knowledge or some of your humor when you're doing news posts, which it's not impossible to do, but I think it's a little bit harder when you're doing news posts. And when he's doing 10 posts a day, there's probably a little bit of, I'd like to get this done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get where that's coming from, but it's also like, I don't think that qualifies as least favorite writer, in my opinion. I think it's a fair critique probably, but to say that's your least favorite, maybe that person doesn't qualify it as least favorite. Maybe that's the time they just wanted to critique somebody because that was kind of
It
the
was
spot to
better
do it,
feedback than the I'm not sure, I don't know, don't have one.
Yep. That's, yeah,
So
100%.
last one. Again, I'll list a few who I will never read. Max Everett, Carl Heiser, Jared Prosser. Never read.
Wow. I put Carl as one of my favorites. I'm stunned. That's crazy to me.
Never read.
Wow. I don't know what to say. That's crazy. Like, to have Carl as one of your least favorites, I think is wild.
What are your thoughts on Max Everett and Jared Prosser?
I don't really read a lot of Max Everett stuff because he doesn't really post things that I'm interested in, to be honest.
The Booger Eater Pro Wrestling shit.
Yeah, never really been a fan. Once again, I'm a UFC fan, so it's like, why would I watch fake fighting when I can watch real fighting?
I'm with you.
So Max Everett has never really posted something that I've been totally stoked to read. No disrespect intended, but I think that's a difference of what he writes about and what I read about. So
I actually like Max's blogs when he does he'll do he did one on some WWE blog or some women fighter that lost like a tit or something. I don't know. Like shit like that, I'll fucking read. Why not?
Yeah, I've just never read it, so it's hard for me to say if he's.
I thought the no on the Jared Prosser. Won't read Jared Prosser. I just think Jared he's just different from everybody else in the fact that all of his blogs are long, and if you don't have time to sit there and read the long blog, and I don't know, I'm kind of anti long blogs unless it's really gonna pop, but I don't know, the blogs that he does are good. He's here for a reason.
Yeah. I won't slam him for the long blogs because I tend to be a little lengthy, especially the UFC previews are long. So it's like I'm not going to sit here and critique him for being long. So I don't. Yeah.
Any additional comments for the sports sections? So this is NBA, UFC, MLB, blah blah blah. Would love expanded college football and basketball. I believe that was you.
Yep. Which we've talked about. It's just a matter of finding the people.
Yep.
Which is not easy.
NBA has to be better this year, more video content from them. We have a chance to take over college football and college basketball one at a time. Gaming needs to be better as well. Need gamers to get the Twitch running. Don't disagree with anything that was said there.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of doing it. Like, I don't think any of those are wrong.
This person wants more MLB, which, yes. Marsman is so underrated. Same with Jackson Fida.
Jackson Fida is another guy where I don't know if his blogs are good or bad because I don't know anything about soccer, so I don't read it. But posts a lot of soccer stuff, which is credit to him because we need it.
All the comments there were add this, add that. So
yeah,
we can keep it moving. We're going long enough. How do you feel about the leadership and direction? This one, I think this was you. I think this is my favorite response. We need more leaders outside of Trey.
Yeah, I'll just say that it's like, if I were to ask who is a leader at this company outside of Trey, like, we have people that I know I can reach out to. Like, Chickster has made it very clear on days where you're not available, reach out to me. So it's like, I don't want to make it seem like there's nobody at the company that is a leader outside of you. Like, in my example, in my answer, I talked about how Hannah Fan has taken an increased leadership role, especially on the editing side of things, telling people what they can work on. And he's even dropping news posts. Toothpaste said something in the chat the one day about how you and him can't do everything. And it's like, I think we just need more people who who step up a little bit more, and it's like it sucks for me to say that because I also don't take a big leadership role myself. So it's like I don't want to make it seem like I'm some sitting on a pedestal here and I'm trying to be a leader when I don't really attempt to do that myself. But it's like if we could get more people to step up in roles, even if it's something small, like Garrett will drop breaking news posts on occasion because he
I
saw
actually
it. And
hate
he's
when
like,
people do that.
when they drop posts,
If you're gonna drop the post, fucking do it.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But that's better than someone who's showing up and doing nothing, in my opinion. So it's like I don't know exactly what can be done and who can do what to step up and be a little bit more of a leader, but I don't think it should all 100% fall on you.
Yeah. The next response basically said the same thing. I like the leadership, but maybe Trey needs some help at the top. I trust in Trey's plan. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. I mean, all of these responses, you could say whatever you fucking want about me. I mean, I didn't even expect this. Like, I was expecting a little bit more pushback. I mean, how about this one? If anyone besides Trey was running this company, it would be already 6 feet underground. I have no concerns with leadership at all. Do you disagree? Do you think if Chickster was in charge, it'd be 6 feet underground?
Well, I think like if you weren't here, it's like we would have had 8 posts a month if you weren't here. So it's like
Yeah,
it'd
we
be
go
under the
under.
ground.
I mean, the way ESPN, the Athletic, fan side, I mean, it would be done.
Yeah,
it would. Trey certainly isn't a traditional leader / boss, but I personally enjoy the type of mentoring leading. Okay. If you fuck up, you will be called out for it, plain and simple. But if you do good work, Trey will always make sure it doesn't go unnoticed. And I personally enjoy that. Wow. How about that one?
good answer. Correct as well.
Trey cares about everyone he works with. Company starts and ends with him. As much as he wants this company to succeed, he wants us to be able to succeed as well. True. What's that? I don't, or what's that? That doesn't even make sense. I have no doubt in this company will make it big at some point. Last one. I am ride or die with this company. Vendetta has given me opportunities I thought I'd never have. The direction is straight up with no stops, and we have the right man at the helm to get us there and beyond. Let me ask you this question. You think if fucking cow turd sent out a Google form to all his fucking employees at the volume that they'd have this to say? That's what I want to know. That's what I
Probably
want to
not.
know.
I also wonder how much he's actually leading and how much he's showing up and just recording and leaving.
True.
So that would be
True.
my interesting thing to find out. I imagine there's an executive producer that pulls out the strings.
Good point. Okay. This one is you. Example, Cheese has 32 views and 3 likes. How can employees not watch and drop a like? We are literally helping each other without doing anything.
Yeah, that was my big thing at the end there. I was like, I don't expect everyone to watch every video, but it's like the way the algorithm works, if you watch the video and like it, and maybe even leave a comment if you feel so inclined, that only helps the other people at the company.
Yep.
Like, I watched all of Chickster and Garrett's record predictions and liked every single one. Like,
You watched all of them?
yeah, I just had it playing as I was typing, so
I couldn't listen to him.
you couldn't listen to him?
No. His one video, he's like this in the fucking screen. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude. Chill out, man. I watched who he had in the playoffs. That was it. All right.
But and also, side note, you do more work than other people. Like, you're doing more work than me, so I have more time to watch people as I write. It's like you've got more going on, so it makes it a little bit harder to watch all the videos. So it's like other people at the company can watch them, and it's not like a, you know what I mean? Like other people have the time to watch them.
People make it seem like they don't have time for anything, actually. Attaboy for Trey. Your hard work is noticed and appreciated. I mean, wow. Thanks for the opportunity. Be open to things that make you uncomfortable. I think I do that already.
Was that a direct thing to you or to everybody at the company?
I don't know. Great job expanding the site. More content creators and spreading the word will only help. Never give up. Keep pushing forward. One day, Vendetta will be the most respected sports publication in the industry. I just want to thank you for all that you do. You never get thanks and deserve them in spades. You've built this place from the ground up and refuse to let it fail. I love this place and I am glad to be part of the hottest sports media site there is. Let's fucking go.
A lot of positive things. Some nice little pats on the back for you too.
Do you have any takeaways to anything that we went over? Anything additional you want to talk about? I think we went long enough, but
I'll just say I'm surprised there was not as I thought there was going to be more negativity. I thought we were going to have some more complaints, but
that's what it was for. I mean, it was for, hey, what do you want to change? Who sucks? You know, let's hear how we can make the place better. And all that I heard was the place is fucking awesome and that what you're doing is what you should continue to do.
Mm-hmm. Which is great to hear.
Right.
Like, I'm surprised there wasn't more like small things. Like for like my little side thing about the YouTube. Like it's just one thing that I was like, well, if we support each other more on the YouTube, that'll help. But it's like not even small things. It was a lot of outstanding. Which
what does that tell you? When I call Logan Camden a fucking scumbag, people seem to like it.
Do you think Logan Camden saw that video?
Probably. And I think Cowherd told him not to respond or that he was fired. That's my guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
The more that shit goes on, the more I continue to be validated in what I'm doing. That's basically all that I got out of this.
Yep. And that you're a hard worker. A lot of people commenting on your hard work. So
that's true. That is true.
You probably already knew that though, but worth noting.
I'm more so like a psychotic person than a hard worker, I think. It's like I just want to bury people. I just want to be the best. Like I don't know how much of it is hard work. It just comes with it.
Yeah, like being psychotic leads to hard work. It's like it's a positive out of the previous thing. It's a positive side effect.
Yeah, I guess.
Which
all right, so nothing else to add. We're good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right, this was fun. Yeah. James Herrick, thank you for joining the show. And final reminder that September 7th, start scheduling your posts. Start scheduling your posts for September 7th because Survivor's back. I guess we'll hold it maybe an hour before kickoff. Let's do that.
I like that.
We like that?
Yeah.
Gives people time throughout the day. They get their posts in an hour before kickoff. Nobody wants to watch the fucking pregame show anyway, so let's do it.
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay. That's James Herrick. Make sure to follow him. I don't even know what his Twitter is anymore.
I think it's jherrick81
on X. What a fucking idiot
that is a joke.
Myself, Trey Daubert. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.